Hello and what is up, beautiful people? Today would be the third episode of my Road to 18 Inches Arms. Again, I'm sorry to say that I haven't still measured my arms. Probably tomorrow. I've been busy for the past few days because I am handling some personal businesses, um, most especially my employment. I am officially unemployed and I don't know how this would affect my lifting career, my lifting journey, but as you can see here, I'm doing, of course, doing during my bro days, my arm days, arm and shoulder days. I usually start my day or the exercise routine with a warm up, technically a warm up. Of course, doing incline hammer presses supersetted with double pullovers. Um, thus, and indirectly, I am actually targeting and working my weak points, primarily my upper pecs, the width of my back, even the thickness, and indirectly and unintentionally, I'm actually warming up my shoulders, my chest, and even my triceps, even in the double pullovers, all y- as you all would have known. Uh, the double pullovers are sometimes referred as the squat or the deadlift of the upper body because not only it targets the lats and uh, actually I don't know if there's truth in expanding the rib cage, but it also targets the upper pecs and the long head of the triceps. And the second superset I'm doing now is incline hammer curls with the rope push downs and then doing dumbbell upright rows. I rotate my incline dumbbell curls with incline hammer curls as to target the brachialis and brachyradialis as to uh, add increments and target some of those juicy brachialis gains. As you have known, brachialis on one of the underrated muscle groups of the upper arms, most especially because it gives you the full look of the arms, especially when viewed from the front and even uh, in the side view, most especially if you are going through a very aggressive cut. Uh, of course, it also targets the brachioradialis, which would also add size on your lower arms and give you that full thick forearm look. And now I'm doing the rope pushdowns. Technically, it's also a type of warm up for the el- for my elbows because of my years of neglecting arm isolation. My elbows and even my wrist feels a little bit funny, or there's always a tingling sensation whenever I touch heavy weights without warming up. So technically, those rope push downs, although they're also my hard sets, they are technically also my warm up sets as to the next triceps and biceps exercises to come. And here I'm doing also dumbbell upright rows, technically also a warm up for the my shoulder joints and my rotator cuffs because I am also having some nagging pain on my left shoulder joint. And now for the next superset, I am doing Egyptian cable raises, supersetted with easy bar front raises, and then doing skiers. I learned this exercise through Jeff Nippard, and I learned the easy bar front races from Dr. Mike Isertel from Renaissance Periodization, and of course the skiers from GVS, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, because he has huge and humongous rear delts besides his beef cannon triceps, and I am trying to achieve that uh, very big, meaty, beefy uh, delts, especially on the side view whenever I do uh, a side bicep or side chest pose wherein you're also flexing your biceps very, very hard. Um, Also, from what I've mentioned on the past videos, Sam Sulek even promotes the spamming of rear delt exercises as also not just for the sole purpose of aesthetics, but also for the overall integrity and health of your rotator cuffs, because it's a hard pill to swallow if you have nagging or a very injured rotator cuffs or delts in general, because for one, you can't do overhead elevation and even heavy pulling exercises with nasty injury on your rotator cuff. So that's why I think, in my honest opinion, rear delts are just or even more important than having bigger front delts. And as you can see here, I'm also prioritizing my front delts after years of neglect again in doing or neglecting overhead work. Especially, I have lagging front delts in which I have this appearance of um, puny pebble shoulders instead of having the average boulder shoulders. And here I'm actually doing minimal range of motion as to minimize the recruitment of the biceps and the lats. And the second, or actually the quote unquote floater exercise I'm doing here is the decline sit up, since I'm not doing heavy pulls from the floor or heavy hip hinges. Instead of doing cable crunches, I actually build my resiliency, the resiliency of my lower back and or my core in general, by doing anti-extension movement like the decline sit-ups. You can also do it on the floor if you don't have the strength and mobility of your core. And I think it's also the floor variation is probably friendly to all levels, from novice to even advanced. And doing spider curls, I actually tweaked the technique here because I used to avoid this like it's the plague. Because for one, I never feel my biceps here. It's mostly forearms and front delts. But what I did was, every time I did a rep, I just stretch out my biceps, in which I'm actually also trying to flex my triceps as hard as I can on the bottom range motion of the movement, thus giving or minimizing the momentum in which the front delts and forearms would probably take part, or it would the front delt and my forearms would probably take more or take more of the resistance compared to if I did it in dead stop motion in every start of a repetition. If you get what I'm saying, in which I straighten my arm and then I proceed to do a curl, a rep, in which I actually feel my biceps whenever I do that technique. And of course, having the cue of Dr. Mike Israel again, your rep should look like you're actually just rewinding one rep at a time, meaning you should be very conscious on your technique. On every rep you do, it should look like you're actually on repeat, if you know what I'm saying. Because for one, the tension is particularly on your targeted muscle, in this case my bicep, and your technique is very clean and precise. So you are not involving the recruitment of other muscle groups, in which I mentioned the front delts and my forearms. And this would be the rope extensions, as I'm actually also a fan of this because of GVS, again because of his beef cannon triceps as labeled by Coach Paris Butler, and 3 sets of 12 to 15. I actually am adding 10 to 15 pound plates on the cable machine because I got stronger on this movement. And then doing Lou dumbbell raises. Not only this hits your front delts and side delts, most especially, it promotes uh, overhead shoulder mobility, in which, again, it's named after the Chinese Olympic weightlifter Lu. I can't pronounce his surname correctly, and I don't want to butcher and offend him. But of course, if you know the sport of Olympic weightlifting, overhead shoulder mobility is a must and always a must. And of course, in prevention of injury, again, having nagging shoulder pain and impingements is a total pain in the ass. It would put you out of commission in lifting heavy weights, again, with precaution. So I actually prefer that more than the standard side delt raises. And of course, doing rear delt flies. Not only this targets my rear delts again, it also targets my mid traps, the rhomboids, probably even the teres major. I don't know. I'm not an exercise science guru or fitfluencer as any of this, which is plaguing the social media and YouTube fitness industry. And this would be the last exercise of the row day I did last time, which would target the neck. And of course, as I've mentioned before, you can just do neck curls and neck extensions, and you're good to go doing the side raises. If you're very if you're not lazy, you're not that lazy enough, you can do that to maximize neck gains. But for me, doing neck curls and neck extensions would be enough. And of course, I'm having trouble finding collared shirts that are not that tight nowadays. And of course, that would mean I'm actually gaining neck muscles or neck gains. So that would be it for today's video. Like this video, share this with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below what you think about this journey I'm taking. So, what do you think on, or what is your take on today's episode? So, that would be it. Thank you for watching and have a good day.